Asterisk he only meant to stop for fuel. But on the forgotten world of Kethalar, one impulsive act, drawing his sword in the middle of an ancient ritual, rewrote his destiny. She was moments from execution. He didn't know the customs, didn't understand the stakes. But when he stepped forward to defend her, he wasn't just saving a life. He was sealing a bond. By the laws of her people, he had become her husband. And with that, a nameless mercenary found himself bound to a dying house, caught in the storms of politics, prophecy, and war. Yet it wasn't only the blade that chose him. Something deeper awakened between them. Beneath twin moons, in a chamber carved from stone, where breath met silence and touch replaced words, a soul was conceived. Born of two worlds, destined to unite or destroy them. This is the story of a sword, a knight that changed everything, and the man who never meant to become a legend. Asterisk. The wind never stops on Kethalar. It screams across the barren plains, dragging crimson dust through jagged rock formations that rise like ancient bones reaching for a sun that no longer warms this world. Amid the swirling haze stands a forgotten refuel station, rusted towers half buried in sand, their metal skins groaning with age. It's the kind of place that no one visits unless they are desperate, or running from something. A small ship descends, its engines coughing and spitting steam. The moment it touches down, the storm begins to settle as if the land itself is holding its breath. The hatch creaks open. Riker Voss steps out. His armor is battered, pieced together from too many jobs in too many places. Scars line his face, and he walks with the weight of someone who's seen far more than he ever wanted to. One hand rests instinctively near his belt, the other taps on the cracked refueling console. Just a quick top up, he mutters. No entanglements. He slides a few credits forward. The alien vendor behind the glass, skin wrinkled like dried kelp, eyes pale as old milk, accepts without a word. Riker turns to light a cigarette he doesn't have. That's when he hears it. A noise. Not the wind. Not machinery. Shouting. Far off, carried on the gusts like a warning. His brow tightens. Old instincts flicker. He moves toward the sound. Around the back of the station, tucked between rusted scaffolds and faded signs, he finds a crude arena carved into the rock. A crowd has gathered, dozens of aliens packed tight, chanting, eyes burning with ritual fury. In the center, chained to a stone post, stands a woman. Blood on her skin. Dust on her lips. But she does not bow. Lorrathi. He doesn't know her name yet, but the moment he sees her bruised, unyielding, something shifts. She is not pleading. Not afraid. She is waiting for death like it's a familiar face. Across from her, a massive warrior circles with slow, deliberate steps. He wields a ceremonial blade, etched with ancient runes that shimmer in the fading light. At the edge of the ring, a high priest raises a scroll and begins to chant in a tongue soaked in age. Let blood decide. Let the sword speak. Riker watches, not moving. Until a whisper reaches his ear. She stands alone, someone murmurs behind him. No shield. No second. Rite of severance. The warrior raises his blade. Lorrathi doesn't flinch. And that's when Riker steps forward. Hey. The word cuts through the air like a crack of thunder. Dozens of heads turn. The priest's chant falters. Even the wind seems to pause. He steps into the ring uninvited, unknown. Dust clings to his boots. His hand moves to his side. He draws a blade. Not ceremonial. Not clean. Just steel, worn from time and too many regrets. "You want to fight," he says, voice low, eyes locked on the warrior. "Then fight me." Gasps ripple through the crowd. The scroll slips from the priest's fingers. And from the edge of the ring, the vendor's voice returns soft, almost mournful. He doesn't know what he just did. The temple hall is silent, so silent that even the air feels sacred. Carved from black stone and lined with flickering golden orbs, the walls breathe with the weight of tradition. Riker stands in the center. His wrists are free now, but his choices are not. Behind him, the great doors have closed, cutting him off from the outside world. Ahead, 5 elders sit motionless on their thrones, wrapped in deep violet robes, their faces hidden behind woven veils. Lorrathi stands just a few steps away. She doesn't look at him. Her wrists are still bruised, loosely bound in ceremonial cloth. There's strength in her posture, but also something guarded, like she's bracing for a blow she won't dodge. The lead elder rises. His voice is steady, low, and impossibly old. "By drawing steel in her defense, you invoke the right of fusion. You are now her mate. Not by love. By law." Riker stares at the elder as if he's just spoken another language. "What?" His voice comes out flat, but beneath it is disbelief, maybe even fear. Lorrathi's voice is quieter, more grounded. "You stepped into a blood rite. You didn't know. But the bond doesn't care if you knew." He lets out a bitter laugh. "No one else does. I came here for fuel," he mutters. "Not for a wedding." Another elder leans forward, fingers entwined like tree roots, voice like dust on stone. "And yet, here you stand chosen. Not by chance, but by blade, and by breath." From the shadows, a young attendant approaches, small, silent, hands outstretched. He carries a folded sash. Deep crimson, threaded with silver that pulses faintly in the glow of the temple lights. The elder gestures toward it. "This marks the union." Riker doesn't reach for it. He just stares. The fabric looks soft. But in his eyes, it might as well be chains. Above them, the lights flicker just for a moment. No one moves. No one speaks. Because what's done cannot be undone. And the bond has already taken root. The fire flickers gently between them, its glow carving soft amber lines across stone and skin. The chamber is quiet, no sound but the whisper of flames and the faint echo of breath against cold walls. Riker sits with his back to the rock, one knee raised, arms draped loosely over it. His armor lies at his side, forgotten for now. He watches the fire, not her, but his voice breaks the silence, low and curious. "Why didn't you run when I stepped in?" Across the fire, Lorrathi doesn't flinch. Her eyes stay fixed on the embers, their reflection shimmering in her gaze. She answers calmly, as if the thought had never needed reconsidering. "Because running means shame. I would have rather died." Riker turns his head slightly. Not enough to face her fully, just enough to hear the weight behind her words. "You almost did," he says, quiet but firm. She nods once. No emotion in a gesture, only truth. "But you stopped it. Which means now, you're stuck with me." She says it without edge, without sarcasm. Just a simple fact laid bare in the firelight. A pause settles between them. Not uncomfortable, not tense. Just uncertain. Like something is shifting, too soft to name. Riker leans forward, elbows on knees, fingers laced loosely. He doesn't smile. But something in his expression softens, even if only for a breath. The fire cracks. A spark leaps upward, dances in the air, then fades. Neither of them speak. But the silence no longer feels cold. There's a warmth now, delicate, unspoken, nestled between flame and shadow. The canyon breathes like a sleeping beast, its walls narrow, serrated, pulsing with heat. Thorn vines coil through every crevice, twitching slightly with the breeze, as if alive. Light filters down in fractured beams, too bright, too sharp, slicing across ancient stone scorched by time and blood. They move in silence. Riker leads, blade drawn low, each step a whisper against the brittle ground. Behind him, Lorrathi follows, her spear steady, her eyes tracking shadows that seem to shift when no one's watching. They don't speak. Speech is useless here. Only instinct matters. The flame seed is buried deep in a hollow of pale rock, surrounded by jagged spires and heat cracks that pulse with something almost alive. And they are not alone. The Guardians wait in stillness. Massive things, hunched and armored in scales dark as night glass. Their breath clouds the air with steam. Their eyes small, recessed, burn like dying coals. The moment their scent catches, they move. One crashes forward with terrifying force, and Riker meets it blade first. Steel against bone. The impact throws sparks, but the beast doesn't yield. Its claw catches him across the chest, flinging him backward into stone. Dust erupts. Blood follows. Before the dust can settle, she's there. Lorrathi's spear pierces the side of the creature's neck in a single, precise motion. No hesitation. No noise. She plants herself between Riker and the thing without even glancing his way. He staggers upright, clutching his ribs, voice rough. "You didn't have to do that." "Neither did you," she replies, never taking her eyes off the second one. Another beast charges. They move as one now, not trained, not choreographed, just aligned. He blocks the charge, absorbing the brunt. She slips past, slicing through exposed flesh with precision honed by survival. He covers her blind side. She watches his. They don't talk about it. They don't need to. By the time the last one falls, the canyon has gone still. A silence thicker than before. The kind of silence that only comes after shared violence, shared breath. At the center of the nest, the flame seed pulses. Not with fire, but with something softer. Something alive. Lorrathi kneels beside it, hands cradling it like it's more than a prize. Like it's something meant to be protected. Riker stands a few steps away, watching her, not the seed, not the victory. Just her. The way the light plays across her face. The way she exhales without words. The way he's no longer sure who saved who. No one speaks. But the bond is there now. Not from bloodlines. Not from law. But from the choice to bleed beside each other, and not walk away. The cavern is alive with light, not bright, not harsh, but soft, pulsing gently from the walls like breath through skin. Bioluminescent vines cling to the stone in long, elegant ribbons, their glow casting ghost blue reflections across Riker's face as he moves deeper in. The silence here isn't empty. It hums, faint but constant, like a memory echoing just beneath the surface of the world. The walls are marked, etched by hands long gone. Symbols, figures, lines that weave and spiral like a language lost to time. Riker runs his fingers along one of the carvings, tracing the curve of a shape he doesn't fully understand. It draws him in. Pulls him forward. Then he sees it. Two figures, one unmistakably human, the other Kethalar. Standing side by side, their forms stylized in ancient design. Between them, a child, arms lifted, light radiating outward like a heartbeat made visible. Above the trio, a single symbol glows faintly as the ambient light catches the grooves. Lorrathi steps up beside him, her eyes already fixed on that mark. Her voice is quiet, as if she's speaking not to him but to the truth that's always been there. That symbol, it's you? He stares at it. At the stone. At her. Something in him resists. I don't believe in fate. Her response comes without hesitation. No argument. Just certainty, smooth and quiet like water in the dark. Fate doesn't care what you believe. He doesn't answer. Not because he disagrees, but because there's nothing left to say. The air around them shifts, subtle, but unmistakable. The glow of the cavern pulses once, like it's listening. Like the walls themselves have heard the truth spoken aloud, and accepted it. And for a moment, Riker stands there not as a soldier, not as an outsider but as something the prophecy had always expected. Moonlight spills across the stone floor like liquid silver, flowing in from the open arch where the twin moons hang suspended in the night sky, one pale and cool, the other low and red, casting shadows that sway gently with the breeze. They stand in silence. No words. No declarations. Just breath. She steps closer. Not rushed. Not unsure. Simply drawn by something neither of them has tried to name. Her eyes meet his, not with demand, not with question but with recognition. A quiet agreement passes between them, unspoken and absolute. His hand lifts to meet hers. Their fingers touch barely at first and everything slows. The space between them narrows, not because it's expected, but because there's nowhere else to go. The silence stretches, but it's not empty. It's full. Of the weight of survival. Of unspoken ache. Of trust hard-earned and gently held. He brushes a strand of hair from her face. She leans into the gesture like it's a memory she's always known. When their bodies meet, it's not fire, it's gravity. Slow. Certain. Anchored in something deeper than urgency. There's no beginning to it, no end. Just movement. Breath. Warmth exchanged without sound. Time doesn't pass. it lingers. And when dawn finally slips in, soft and golden their forms lie still beneath the fading glow of the moons. She rests against him, eyes closed, her face calm in a way it has never been before. One hand lays gently over his chest, as if anchoring herself there. His arm holds her with quiet purpose, not possession. He's awake, watching, listening to the rhythm of her breathing like it's the first peace he's allowed himself in years. And for now, that is enough. The sky arena stretches above the clouds, an endless pillar of air and light, where gravity holds only when permitted. Stone platforms float in silence, anchored to nothing but ancient force. The wind here doesn't blow. It circles, waits. Riker stands alone on a narrow slab of rock, every breath tight in his chest. The sun beats down, unforgiving. Across from him, his challenger hovers barely tethered to the earth. A creature of air and speed, armor light, eyes sharp, body built to strike and vanish. The trial begins without a word. A flash of motion, a blur. Riker barely sees it coming. The first hit lands, hard and sudden, knocking him sideways. The second forces him to the edge. He steadies himself, one foot dragging against crumbling stone. His blade feels heavier with every passing second. Another strike tears across his side. Blood follows, warm and fast. He swings, misses. The challenger fades back, untouched, weightless, watching. Pain crawls up his spine. His arms shake. The platform shifts beneath him. He drops to a knee. Then she's there. Lorrathi lands beside him, silent as dusk. She doesn't speak, doesn't hesitate. Her blade grazes her wrist, and a line of crimson spills into her palm. She reaches for him. The gesture is quiet, final, a wordless offering. He looks into her eyes and sees no fear, only fire. She presses her blood to his lips. He drinks. It burns like it shouldn't, but it brings him back. Not just strength, focus, clarity. His pulse realigns. Breath returns. He rises. Their eyes meet for half a second, then she steps aside. This part is his. The challenger moves again, fast, deadly, but Riker's blade catches the motion. Sparks flare. Stone groans. He absorbs one hit, returns another. His feet no longer slip. His arms no longer shake. He fights like someone who knows they've already died once and chose to come back. The final strike knocks the challenger from the sky. No cheers follow. Only wind. He stumbles forward, falling to his knees. Blood stains the stone, but he's breathing. Alive. Lorrathi reaches him before he falls. Their foreheads touch, brief, steady. Nothing is said. But in that silence, it's clear. They didn't win because they fought. They won because they stopped fighting alone. The chamber is hushed, but not with reverence. It's the kind of silence that listens too closely. Torchlight flickers along the curved stone walls, casting long, shifting shadows that never seem to settle. The air hangs heavy, thicker than ceremony, too still to trust. Lorrathi stands before the council, unshaken. Her voice is measured, unwavering. Riker watches from the edge of the room, arms crossed, reading every breath between the elder's words. Something in their stillness tightens his gut. Then gesture. One of the robed figures raises a hand. A cup is passed down the line, its surface etched with ceremonial markings dulled by time. Her rival, seated among them, extends it toward her calm, smooth, too smooth. She takes it. She drinks. At first, nothing. Then, a flicker behind her eyes. Her breath catches, shoulders slacken. Her knees begin to fold. She falls soundlessly. Riker is moving before she hits the ground. He catches her, cradles her, feels the weight of her body shift in his arms. Her pulse flutters thin, disjointed. The council remains seated. Silent. Watching. No gasps. No outrage. He meets their gaze, eyes burning, but says nothing. Not here. Not now. He lifts her onto his back and walks out. No one stops him. Outside, the air is colder. The sky churns low over the mountain rim, clouds pressing in like stone. Wind cuts sharp across the path, and the earth beneath his feet turns loose and brittle. He doesn't hesitate. Step by step, he climbs. Lorrathi's breath warms the back of his neck, then fades, then returns, shallow and slow. He speaks to her softly, not words to fill the silence, but to anchor her, to keep her here. Snow begins to fall. Thin at first, then faster. The trail narrows into jagged switchbacks, slick with frost. He presses forward, boots slipping, hands raw from gripping cold stone. Far ahead, tucked in a hollow between peaks, the shrine emerges. Half buried, forgotten. Symbols etched in fading light pulse faintly across the archway, glowing only as he draws near. He steps inside. The air is warmer. Still. He lowers her onto the altar at the heart of the chamber, an ancient slab of polished stone, veined with lines of soft blue light. He kneels. His voice is barely a whisper, strained, not from volume, but from everything else being used up. He doesn't demand. Doesn't threaten. He just asks. For time. For mercy. For her. Not as a warrior, but as the one thing he didn't realize he couldn't lose. Light gathers slowly in the hollow of the shrine, not like sunrise, but like something breathing. Soft pulses rise from the stone, brushing her skin in gentle waves. Her chest lifts. Once. Again. And then she opens her eyes. There's no gasp. No sudden motion. Only presence. The glow isn't around her, it's beneath the skin, threaded through her like quiet fire. It pulses at her fingertips. Lingers beneath her eyes. Not blinding. Just undeniable. Riker is already beside her. He doesn't speak. He only watches, motionless, as if afraid even breath might shatter this moment. She blinks, slowly. Her hand drifts downward, across her stomach, stopping as if guided. Her fingers still. So does time. Riker's hand follows. Their palms rest together. And in that silence, they both feel it. Not illusion. Not hope. Something alive. The air shifts around them. Symbols on the walls begin to glow, faint at first, then clearer. The shrine responds not to their touch, but to what has awakened within her. A low hum fills the chamber. Not sound. Not voice. Just memory rising. The vision doesn't come like a dream. It unfolds like truth. A child, neither human nor Kethalar, stands at the center of a fractured world. Their presence ignites movement. Factions bend. Others burn. Flames lick skyward. Empires tilt on the breath of one decision. Peace or ash. Unity or undoing. And then, stillness. The glow fades. The vision recedes. But its weight remains. Their hands are still joined. Her gaze finds his. Steady. Steeled. Not in fear. In choice. He doesn't speak. But in the way he holds her, in the way their fingers close not tight, but with certainty they've already decided. Not to shape what's coming, but to shield it. Whatever it becomes. The sun rests low above the temple's crest, casting a golden haze across ancient stone and open sky. Banners ripple gently in the highland wind threads of every tribe, once scattered, now gathered in silence. The mountain air holds no sound but breath. Riker stands at the heart of it all. His armor gleams with ceremonial etchings, worn not for war, but for witness. At his side, Lorrathi, unmoving, unshaken, draped in the colors of her people, her presence steady as the land beneath them. They face the circle of tribes. Elders. Warriors. Children. All watching. Not with suspicion now, but with something quieter. The hush before the first word. The breath before belief. The final trial is not of strength. It is of truth. Riker steps forward. No platform. No weapon. Just the sky above and the stone beneath. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. I didn't come here to save a world. A pause. The echo lingers, softer than silence. But maybe I was meant to love one. There is no applause. No eruption. Only stillness deep and absolute. And then, they kneel. Not in defeat. Not in command. But in recognition. One by one, heads bow. Banners lower. The wind stills, as if listening. As if holding its breath for what comes next. Lorrathi closes her eyes, just for a moment. A gesture not of surrender, but of peace. And around them, something begins to shift, not loudly, not fast. Like light spreading through soil. Like roots reaching down through stone. Not a throne. Not a crown. But the quiet birth of an age. One shaped not by conquest, but by the choice to stay. He came with no banner. No prophecy. Just a scarred blade and a need to keep moving. But Kethalar didn't ask for a savior. It asked for someone willing to stay. And Riker stayed. Not because he had to, but because something ancient, and fragile, and terrifying, asked him to love. From a stranger with no name, to the bearer of one future, and the father of another. But peace, like prophecy, is never simple. The child has not yet spoken. The stars have not yet chosen. So we ask, will the union that saved this world become the spark that burns it? If this story reached you, if something in Riker's path felt strangely close to your own, then stay near. Because what comes next might not be written in stone. It might be written in blood. And in the shadows between stars, a new voice waits to rise. Subscribe to the channel if you're ready to walk deeper. Because legends like this, they never truly end.